Good morning, and I want to welcome everyone to the Dougherty County School System Board briefing that begins at 11:30. We do apologize for the minute delay, but we'll get started. To go, what we normally do during briefing, we'll go through the agenda to see whether or not any board members have any questions, comments, or concerns throughout that process prior to us closing out this meeting to begin our actual board meeting. So first, we will review the agenda. Any board members, to give the board members opportunity to ask any questions that you may have or make any comments. First, is there any questions or concerns approval of about the minutes for meeting held June 12th and the public hearing held on June 8th? Any questions? Hearing none. Any questions on item 2, recommendation of employment of personnel? Hearing none. Item 3, consideration of recommendation of release of personnel. Any questions, comments? Item 4, consideration recommendation to approve purchase from the Finance Committee. A, fresh bread. B, groceries, or C, custodial supplies. Item 5, consideration recommendation to approve contracts for services from the Finance Committee. A, Mobile Mine. B, TSA Plan Consortium. C, I'm going to say this wrong, Satchel Plus Culture and Climate Surveys, and Satchel Plus SEL Platform. Hearing none. Item 6, consideration and recommendation for surplus of equipment. Item 7, consideration and recommendation to adopt the following: the Georgia Vision Project, thank you, Mr. Dyer, and board operation procedure. Item 8, yes, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Youngblood. Seven B. Any other questions, concerns? Okay. Our board member has asked for us to table item B, so when we go into the regular session, we'll make sure we have that table. And Mr. Youngblood, just for clarity, you're just asking for B only. Okay. Just want to make sure. We're in compliance. Okay. Item 8, adoption of recommendation for our board policy for classified personnel vacation time. Hearing none. And number 9, consideration of recommendation to approve fundraising requests or out-of-state field trips. Hearing none. Do we have any committee reports? Okay, Mr. Superintendent, would you like to go ahead with your superintendent report?
Sure, ma'am. Sure.
Can we get the lights dimmed a little bit, please? Thank you. And the superintendent report will address personnel in our executive session, please.
June 29th. All right. Right. We'll go over our discuss. We'll do a year review of our strategic plan updates. We'll go over each priority, just some highlights on each one. Do a 12-month look ahead. What our focus is going to be over the next 12 months. Some announcements and other items, questions, and then the executive session if the board sees fit to do so. Of course, our vision, we always talk about our vision, is to be a destination school system that partners with our stakeholders to provide quality education and social development experiences that empower our graduates to be successful and impactful contributors to society. We'll reach that vision by carrying out our mission to meet the academic and non-academic needs of our students with rigorous and relevant educational experiences that equip them to succeed in life. Our strategic plan, the way forward, focus centered on rigor, relevance, relationships, and resilience. The 5 priority areas, of course, as you know, early literacy, academic rigor and relevance, social and emotional wellness, investment in human capital, and stakeholder or family community engagement. March 13th, that was the day that we were going to make this public. And it was also the day that COVID came. And so we made the decision that we were going to leave to go on spring break a week early, because that was the week before spring break. And then we were going to come back after a 2-week break and finish the year strong. But of course, you know, COVID got worse, and it got worse.
Gosh.
And so we had to regroup, and that actually was the last day of in-person instruction for the year. But we still looked at our strategic plan to look and see whether it was still relevant after in the midst of COVID. And we determined that it was, and those were the 5 priority areas of focus that we wanted to maintain. With early literacy being the first, and academic rigor and relevance for all students being second priority. So we had to look at a reset, post-pandemic reset, if you will. And you've seen this graphic several times. It was from McKinsey and Company. It was presented by Bill Daggett at a GSBA GSBA annual conference. And the black dot represents, the green line represents the 3-year average of academic gains for students across the country. And the black dot represents the percentage of those gains that minority students and students who are economically disadvantaged achieved 77% of what they typically gain in the academic year. And then the blue dot represents those students who are not economically disadvantaged, schools with over 50% of students who are not economically disadvantaged, and the percentage gain they achieved after COVID as compared to a 3-year average of academic gain prior to COVID. Reading, 77% for those students economically disadvantaged, 90% for those that are not. And math it was worse than that, 59% for those students who are economically disadvantaged, and 69% for those who are not. And as you look at math throughout, disaggregated by grade, you'll see that going all the way, it gets progressively worse as you go up in grade. And in 5th grade, the schools that have over half of their students who are economically disadvantaged, those students, on average, had academic growth that was about 37% of what they typically get in a year. And those students who are not economically disadvantaged, about 53%. That's some stark information. That's nationwide data, of course, published by McKinsey and Company, one of the leading research firms in the country. And you've seen this before. So we looked at our strategic plan, looked at our legislative priorities, and our number 1 legislative priority was expansion of pre-K. That's a direct, will have a direct impact on early literacy, which is our number 1 priority in our strategic plan. But I have to say that this year, we were approved for 5 additional pre-K classes, and we're in the process of getting the annex and the note at Morningside Elementary School prepared to launch. And I'm also glad to say that we have a waiting list. Even with the expanded classes, we have a waiting list. And we're trying to find out we can get another class. We don't have a place to put them right now. So but we do anticipate looking forward to next year, where we can expand to 5 additional classes for a total of 10. That'll be in the plan to have in the Sylvester Road, the old Sylvester Road Elementary building. And that'll provide us with up to 220 additional pre-K slots. And as we know, we can start students out with a foundation, educational foundation earlier. They'll be better equipped to succeed in the upper grades. So we're excited about that. our Reach to Succeed and our Reach to Learn programs. Reach to Succeed is our early literacy initiative, and our Reach to Learn was our effort to combat what's been deemed as learning loss associated with the pandemic. As you can see in that graphic that we displayed, nationwide, that's been an issue. If you look at Dougherty County data, you see the same. You'll see our academic achievement gains mirror that of the national averages, with the majority of our students, our schools having students who are economically disadvantaged. You'll see the dip from 2019 to 2021, which mirrors the national data, which so it's not an anomaly. But you also see the encouraging piece, the steep incline from 2021 to 2022. Not quite recovered from 2019 levels, but certainly headed in the right direction. Then you'll see also our projected information for 2023 is continuing to incline from 2022. So we're excited about that, and we look forward to continued academic gains. If we continue on this trajectory compared to the state's trajectory, we'll see that gap closing, much like you saw the gap closing between 2017 and 2019 between our achievement and the state's achievement. The dip in 2021 because of COVID, and then you see the incline continuing, and we're excited about the future because of the work of our faculty and staff in the schools and the resilience of our students and their parents. Again, it's additional information, and we're predicting that we have targets with CCRBI and student achievement targets in terms of closing the gaps. And based on our predictions, this is not official data, but based on our predictions, out of our elementary schools, 7 of them will have hit a green flag, which is the target. 1 would have had progress toward the target, although they didn't hit it. The 6 did not have progress toward the target. So over half of our schools made progress. Their elementary schools have an issue with, and overall the district hit its target. Not the same with middle school. We have some work to do in middle school ELA. High schools, 2 out of 3 hit the target. In addition, hit the target. And math, 10 of our schools hit the target. We predict 10 of our schools will hit the target. 1 additional school made progress toward the target. 3 did not. And overall, the district hit the target. Same thing in middle school with 3 out of our 4 schools. All of our schools making progress, and 3 out of 4 hitting the target. In high school, 2 out of 3 hit the target. 1 didn't make progress there, but overall the district did. In science, you'll see, just like with math, 10 out of the 14 schools hit the target in elementary school. And then 1 made progress toward the target, 3 didn't. Overall, the district did. In middle school, 2 out of the 4 hit the target. 1 made progress toward the target. Overall, the district hit the target. And the science, high school, all 3 schools hit the target. And the district hit the target, of course. And social studies in middle school, of course, we don't have that in high school, in elementary school. But 2 out of the 4 schools hit the target. The district overall hit the target. And then we have a little work to do with high school social studies, but only 1 school hitting the target. The district missing the target and that. But if you look at out of the areas, the 9 areas that we looked at, the 11 areas that we looked at, 9 of them, the district hit the target, and 2 of them, the district did not. So we're excited about the progress that we're making after COVID. Still work to be done, but we're excited about the direction that we're headed, and it's all due to large part to our dynamic leaders in our buildings, the faculty and staff that support them, as well as the dedication of our parents and students who continue to achieve despite circumstances. Also, our graduation rate continues to surpass the state average, and we're excited about that. We're looking forward to having that happen again this year. And we just talked about our state test results and predicting performance this year. But one thing that I think we can all agree to, one test doesn't determine whether or not a student is going to be successful. This is a cartoon that, and it says for a fair selection, everybody has to take the same exam. Please climb that tree. You look at a monkey, a penguin, an elephant, a goldfish, and other animals. And the caption says that everybody's a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, you will live its whole life believing that it's stupid. That's a quote by Albert Einstein. So we know standardized test results alone don't, although we're excited about the progress we're making in there, that alone does not determine whether or not a child is going to be successful in life. Again, a graphic based on research from McKinsey and Company. If you look at the bottom of that page, the wage quintile, the lowest wage quintile is on the left side of those bar graphs, and the highest wage quintile is on the right. If you look at the color-coded bars, you'll see that on the lowest wage quintile, you'll see that the majority of the work, 50% is physical and manual skills, 18% is basic cognitive skills. So almost 70% of the work time spent using these skills is on the lowest wage percentile jobs. Conversely, those jobs on the highest wage quintile spend most of their time on higher cognitive skills, social and emotional skills, or we call them soft skills, and technological skills. And the question is, what are we preparing our students for? We're preparing basic cognitive skills and physical and manual skills, as Bill Dougherty said, are essential, but they're not adequate. We must do more. We're preparing our students for a successful future. So as we look at that, we continue our Region C program and our Rich Learn program, but we're also looking at adding relevance to our educational process and our education experience for our students. We are connected to Careers program, our NOCO Codes program, which is a computer science initiative, our Construction Ready program, which we conduct with the Construction Education Foundation of Georgia, and our FLEX program, the Foundational Education, the Foundational Leadership Entrepreneurial Experience that we talked about earlier this year. We had it's a Shark Tank competition where we had a winner locally out of about 20 participants, and she went on to compete at the state level. Didn't win, but she did do well. So we're looking at having an experience not only in the classroom, it's rigorous, but also relevant, preparing our students for their future. That is this year the first year that I connected to Careers initiative. And that's an initiative where students who do not plan to go to a 4-year school can go through an accelerated high school diploma program where they take classes at Albany Technical College, and they can earn 2 technical certificates of credit along with an abbreviated set of high school courses. They'll earn not only their high school diploma but also those technical college credentials that prepare them for the workforce. We had 37 students participate in year 1 of that program, and 12 of them earned at least 1 TCC in the first year. And so they've earned the jobs because in the high demand career field. They have to earn 1 more, and then to be eligible for high school graduation. The second part of that, once they earn those 2 CCCs, we have paid internships that they'll get credit for. And this year, we have 55 students through our Georgia Power partnership that we provided the funding for them to get paid internships. So our students have got relevant job skills, training, and experience through our partnership with Georgia Power and 7 employers in the Dougherty County area. We're excited about that, about our year 1 results. We're looking forward to expanding that in the years to come. Next, these are just some of the employers that participate not only in the Georgia Power Initiative, but also they provide for paid internships on their own. The next step, as we discussed earlier this year, is alignment with our CCA program offerings with the demands in the workforce in our area. And we work with the Southern Region Education Board to do a strategic study of our CCA pathways and to see if they're aligned with workforce demands in our region. And we do have a lot that are aligned. We have some that are not. So we're going to go through with Chamber of Commerce, Economic Development Commission, our high school administrators, and and other employers in the area to ensure we understand what the demands are now and projected to be in the future, and make sure that we align our CCA pathways with the area demands so that we provide relevant experiences to our students, not just completing the pathway in some area that may not provide for a job in the future, but one that's aligned to the workforce needs in our community, in our region. So that's the next step in providing a rigorous and relevant education experience for our students. The next area is social and emotional wellness. You've seen these slides before, the disconnected youth. And this was prior to COVID, and it's even more since COVID. You'll see that the disconnected youth in rural areas is approaching 19%, and small cities, it's right at 10%. You'll see breakdown by race and ethnicity, and by state. In Georgia, you'll see almost 17% of black youth were disconnected, 11% of Latino youth, and 10.5% of white youth were disconnected. We've seen that this is nationwide data, again from McKinsey and Company. 12% increase in chronic absenteeism in secondary schools. 35% of parents surveyed in this McKinsey and Company survey were extremely concerned about their child's mental health. We've seen a 5% increase in clinical anxiety and a 6% increase in clinical depression nationwide with middle and high school students. Is recent data in May, this last month, students' mental health at greater hindrance to learning since the pandemic. Again, this is a national article based on national research. Just to lift out some of the information in the article, percentage of middle high school students say that mental health is an obstacle to learning jumped from 39% to 48% from spring of 2020 and the onset of COVID into the 2022-23 school year. Before the pandemic, 46% of students said they could talk to an adult about stress and anxiety compared to 41% during the current school year. And 22% of respondents said teachers made an effort to understand life outside school in 2023 compared to 43% in 2020. Stark differences in these survey data. Educators say, another article in February of this year, educators say lack of resources to address worsening mental health crisis. Both teachers and superintendents say that student mental health and behavioral concerns are more urgent now than before the pandemic, and that they're lacking resources to address those needs. Majority, 81% of superintendents agree that student behavioral concerns have deepened since the pandemic. 92% indicate that student mental health crisis is worse than in 2019, and almost 80% say they don't have the staff to focus on the problem. Nearly 2/3 cited budgets as a concern in addressing these behavior issues. And then 84% say students, we're looking at teachers and administrators, 84% say students are developmentally behind in self-regulation and relationship building skills compared to the pandemic levels. For that incidence of physical violence have more than doubled since COVID-19. And 60% said pressure to boost academic outcomes leaves them with little time to address the growing behavior and mental health concerns. You're not surprised by that data. I'm sure we've talked about it for the last couple of years. These are national concerns. Every meeting we go to, we talk about mental health, behavioral health concerns, and student discipline issues. And the Center for Disease Control calls on schools to help address historic high teen trauma. So the CDC calls for schools to do it, but as you look at in the last information presented, school systems say they don't have the resources. Superintendents say they don't have the resources to address these concerns. And teachers are saying that they're trying to catch them up academically, as we discussed in the earlier slides, prevents them from being able to address these concerns. So how do we do it? That's the challenge. But the Center for Disease Control calls on schools to prevent and reduce negative impact of violence and other trauma on teens. Been a dramatic increase mental health challenges, particularly for teen girls. With 3 in 5 teen girls are having feelings of persistent sadness and hopelessness in 2021, and that's 6% increase over the highest level recorded over the past 10 years. 1 in 3 teen girls, according to the survey, seriously considered attempted suicide. Again, a 6% increase over information from 10 years ago. And the CDC says, in light of all this data, that school-based activities can make a profound difference in the lives of teens with a relatively small infusion of support of schools. Relatively small infusion. Speaks spoken by someone who doesn't go into schools and do it. Teachers are overwhelmed. Counselors are overwhelmed. And the resources have not been provided traditionally to address these concerns. But they're at our doorstep and they have to be addressed. That was nationwide data. I'm going to drill down and look at Dougherty County School System data. As you know, the board approved the PHQ 8 screener, depression screener, to be administered to middle and high school students this year with parental consent. Now, 2,852 screeners evaluations performed. We had 454 students who were moderately depressed, showed signs of moderate depression. Almost 200 showed signs of being moderately severe, and almost 50 showed signs of being severely depressed. So almost 25% showed from signs of moderate to severe depression, and then slightly less than 9% showed signs of moderate to severe So the national data that we just talked about shows itself in the data from the Dougherty County School System as well. So the board's decision to have these screeners be conducted and provide resources to support families as they support their students. As a valuable resource. A lot of our students would have had access to these resources without the board's commitment in this area. So our social and emotional wellness efforts will continue with partnerships through Albany Area Primary Health Care, Inspired Behavioral Health, the Pediatric and Adolescent Psychiatry Service that the board approved the contract with Albany Area Primary Health Care, then the Fidelity Health Care who administers the survey and provides behavioral health therapy and mental health therapy, both teletherapy and in person. Of course, we can bemoan the fact that we don't have resources through our QE funding and other sources. We can talk about not having resources, and we can go find resources. So we decided to go find resources, and over the last several months, we were approved for a grant of almost $15 billion over 5 years to hire 16 social workers and 3 student support professionals to support our students and their families in the area of behavioral and mental health. And then the Project Prevent grant provides $4 million over 5 years to provide for student support professionals focused on character development and restorative practices in our elementary schools. So I want to thank our team for having the foresight to apply for these grants that were in line with our strategic plan, and it's $19 million in resources that we're able to put toward the problem that we just talked about, the nationwide problem that's plaguing our students in our schools. Our investment in human capital, the efforts there, when you look at, you've seen this before, 2.6 million educators in K-12 and higher ed quick jobs during the pandemic. So what are we doing to retain employees and attract and retain employees? Teacher pay has increased 26% in the Dougherty County School System since fiscal year 2018. $9,234. About 25% of that is funded locally. The other 75% is funded through the state. Then, of course, we've had various increases for employees, custodians, school nutrition employees, school office staff, and bus drivers, in addition to the regular step increases that have been provided. We also provided $2,500 retention incentives over the past several years. We also have recruitment incentives, signing bonuses for our teachers, especially ed teachers and students and teachers who work in federally designated schools. We've enhanced our benefits by expanding our employee assistance program to provide needed mental health and behavioral health support for our employees. We increased our board paid life insurance from $10,000 when I first started to $25,000 now, and to provide for $5,000 coverage for their dependents. Board paid long-term disability insurance and a 5% match for our employees who participate in the public school employee retirement system versus TRS. And then also career planning and preparation of the different academies that we have and the different ways for teachers, new teachers to begin, teacher interns, parent teacher program, and one in particular that we're excited about is the Generate program, a partnership with Mercer, where anyone with a bachelor's degree can earn a master's degree in the art of teaching, and they get that with no cost to them, completely paid for through the Generate grant, and they also get a $500 stipend per month, offset any travel costs associated with participating in the program, and of course using Mobile Mind, our public learning hub, professional learning hub rather, and we started micro-credentialing for our employees. Our family community engagement area, we talked about the school-based mental health grant, and we talked about the Project Prevent grant. But all total, we've had 5 grants over the last 6 years that are going to provide. They can provide up to $34 million, over $34 million in external funding to help support the mission of the school system. That's in addition to our QE funding that did not include the funding for CARES or ESSER. Now the COVID funding, these are competitive grants that we've applied for and been awarded over $34 million. And of that $34 million, over the life of those grants, we'll earn about over $2.25 million in indirect cost revenue to help support the operation of the school system. So again, I want to thank our folks for having the foresight to look for these grant opportunities, as well as apply and be awarded. And it's going to make a significant impact on the lives of the students that we've been called to serve in various ways. The Village, a foundation for education and excellence in Dougherty County. There's a 501c3 foundation that was established last year. We plan to launch that the coming fiscal year. And our Level Up program, this is a program that's focused on a family community engagement, of course, with the adult relatives of our students. And it's a workforce development collaboration between Dougherty County School System, Albany Tech, and some other areas. And I'm excited about this. We talk about a lot of the challenges that we have in Dougherty County that we call this poverty. Household income is relatively low compared to state averages. And a lot of parents in the Dougherty County School System, they go to work every day trying to make ends meet, but they don't make a living wage because they don't have a marketable skill. So we, using the funding we received through the Georgia Power Grant, designed a Level Up program where we give parents an opportunity to upskill and reskill to go qualify them to find jobs that pay a living wage and provide them benefits. And we are happy to say we started our first initiative with Integrity Healthcare Institute, providing training for Certified Nursing Assistant program. It's a 4-week program that provides training. We have 10 parents or family members of our students participating in that program. After 4 weeks, they'll have if they pass the courses, they'll be certified nursing assistants, and they have guaranteed placement for employment at one of several healthcare employers in the Dougherty County area. So we're excited about that. That can make an immediate impact on the lives of the families that we serve, and take a sharp blow to poverty and economic development issues in our community. This is just the first of many to come. Healthcare is going to be an area. Construction is going to be an area. Other high-demand career fields are going to be areas where we have abbreviated training programs that provide work-based credentialing for the families of our students, adult family members of our students, so they can go out and earn a living wage, job with benefits, and we think that'll make a tremendous impact on our students' lives. 12 on look ahead. Priority 1, we're going to, of course, expand our early learning initiative, early literacy initiative rather, in the science of reading to more than just grades pre-K through 2. We're going to expand to grades 3 through 5. Of course, our pre-K expansion next year, we're going to provide an earlier foundation for literacy. Priority 2, expand our instruction and coaches academy, to provide them with more training to support our teachers. As you know, we talked about the teacher shortage. We talked about the challenge of keeping employees here in the classroom. We've increased pay, we've enhanced benefits, but there's still a shortage nationwide. There are just not enough teachers, people majoring in teacher education to replace the number of people who can retire within the next 5 years. That's not a Dougherty County problem. That's not a state of Georgia problem. That's a national problem. So we're getting more and more teachers who are coming to the classroom outside of the traditional pathway of going through a teacher prep program. So they may have a pure biology degree. They're teaching biology, but they haven't learned to teach biology. They know the content. They don't know the pedagogy. So it's vitally important that we provide support for those new teachers as they come, particularly those that come from outside of education, traditional educational training pathways. So the Instruction Coaches Academy is going to provide those folks who support our teachers with training to do so. Math instruction support. As you looked at the national data, math has taken a hit. And so we want to focus on providing support for math in addition to the early literacy initiative. And then you may have heard of ChatGPT and artificial intelligence. Some school systems have banned the use of ChatGPT. We have not. I believe we need to embrace the use of it, not by students per se, but by our teachers. We can develop lesson plans, we can develop rubrics, and with more and more teachers coming outside of traditional pathways for educational training to be teachers, they haven't learned to do lesson plans, they have learned to do rubrics. So we leveraging the power of artificial intelligence, we can take some of that work off of them, and they can focus more on the pedagogy and delivering instruction versus putting those things in place that are necessary to do what they have trouble doing because of the lack of training they have by not having gone through a teacher prep program. So those are things we're gonna focus on in priority 1 and 2. Priority 3, our school-based mental health initiatives that we discussed, we're going to continue to move those. And this quote from Frederick Douglass: "It's easier to build strong children than to repair broken men." When we talk about the behavioral health, the discipline issues that we've seen in Dougherty County school system, statewide and nationwide, character development is going to be vitally important. So we're going to look at launching. We're going to launch our Men Under Construction mentoring program, trying to build strong children, so we don't have to repair broken men in the penal system later. So we're going to have student support specialists, coordinators working with community groups, faith-based organizations, provide group mentoring, particularly at our elementary school level, to help do character development for our boys this year, because they are disproportionately represented in our tribunal process, and then in the next couple of years with our girls. We think that's going to have an opportunity to partner, give us an opportunity to partner with members of our community who want to invest time with our students. We certainly will appreciate that. We're looking forward to that. Priority 4, looking at our investment in human capital, career progression pathways, credentialing, identifying high potential employees and putting them through development programs that we've begun doing, and then looking at ways to enhance our employee benefits with our DCSS Perks program to provide discounts for entry into certain areas in the city, in the community, discounts at certain stores, and also participating in the Southern Education Retirement Consortium that's going to provide our employees with more of their money going to in their account versus paying fees to the broker. And then priority 5, if we're going to be a destination school system, which is what our vision says we will be, then we have to have a focus on customer service. And I used to be of the opinion that we don't need to have customer service training. We all know what it is. because we go somewhere and don't get it. We're going to complain about it. But there's an organization that we've been looking at, and called the American Association of School Customer Service. It has customer service training and credentialing focused specifically on schools. So we're going to look at, we're going to engage with that organization to see if there's an opportunity to partner to provide customer service training, school-focused customer service training for all of our employees, particularly our public-facing employees, to get their credentialing and earn certifications. And then Volunteer Instructional Leadership Learning Academy through GSBA is an outreach program to increase community engagement, stakeholder engagement, and it's certainly, you see the tagline at the bottom of that graphic, that's from GSBA. It takes a village to raise the bar for public education. We certainly believe that. And of course, you know, the village is the name of our 501c3 foundation, so I think this aligns perfectly. And these are the things we're going to focus on in those priority areas over the next 12 months. Any questions or comments regarding that?
Numbers in those, for those circle bombs, I mean, you know, how do we fit when we, you know, like, I live on the water. Somebody else might live on South Jackson Street.
The students who, I think I know what you're talking about. That's not the slide you were talking about. I think you're talking about this. Let's go down. It's down here, I think.
It's for social emotion. That's it, right?
Yeah, those are the circles you're talking about. Let's see if we can get that. So you look at the areas, and they appear to be throughout the city. The county, you see some in the south in the Radiant Springs area at the bottom. You see some to the west of that, and then some more to the east of it. So I can drill down and get that information to you. JD's blowing it up a little. Can you blow that up a little bit, JD? That screen? Can? Okay. All right. That's fine. Well, I can certainly get that information to you. We have it by school. Of course, this is mental health information. You protect it by HIPAA, so we don't want to drill down too deeply. But the heat map shows you where a lot of those respondents came from. And if you look at it, it's throughout the city, east to west, north to south. It seems like the concentration is more on the west side here, with the largest circles there. But again, that's also where the largest amount of population and enrollment resides. But we can certainly get you that information by cluster. Is that the slide you were talking about? Any more questions?
Any more questions?
I'm sorry for the lengthy report, but I want to make sure we give you a year review and focus on where we're headed for next year.
Now, Mr. Dyer, you know where I'm going. I just want to thank Public Information and everybody of looking at that VILA program. You know, I've been looking at that for some time. So I certainly appreciate that because Ms. Bryant Bruce does a lot of conversation on our media, but that will also help us to increase people to assist you and your group, because she's always trying to, but that would say the whole community, you'll have people in those places to correct some of the conversations that we have. So again, I personally want to thank the staff and Mr. Dyer, for all the hard work you've done on this presentation, and go ahead and project for those 12 months. But I do appreciate the Villa will finally get to Dougherty County. Okay, if there's no other questions, can I enter a motion for executive session to discuss personnel?
Madam Chair,
I have a second. All in favor? Okay, we are now in executive session. Mr. Frazier, if you would mind to exit, and please take all your belongings with you. Thank you. Thank you for coming back. Welcome back to the Dougherty County School System mid-month board meeting. I would ask for everyone to please silence your phone, stand for a moment of silence, and the Pledge of Allegiance. Again, thank you for coming back. Can we get approval of, oh, Mr. Superintendent, do we have any public comments? I forgot to ask. Okay, anybody on the line, JD? Okay. So can we get approval of the minutes for June 12th, 2023, and the public hearing June 8th, 2023? I'm sorry. Can we give adoption for the agenda first, which will include 2A and removing, tabling 7B?
I make a motion that we approve the agenda as presented with the addition of item 2A personnel and tabling item 7B.
I second that motion.
Got a, yeah, Ms. Hutley, second. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, all opposed? Unanimous. Okay, now we're back to approval of the minutes for June 12th, 2023 and June 8th, 2023 public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now we will do a consent agenda. Approval of the items, including 2A, again, to remove 7B. It will be a consent agenda. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Is there anything else needs to come before the Dougherty County School System for a mid-month meeting? Mr. Superintendent? Okay. So can I get a motion to adjourn? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, meeting is adjourned.